Thanks for joining me today, Richard. And firstly, I guess the big question is straight away, how is Luke? How is his recovery going at the very moment?
Well, as has been reported during the week, Tyson, it has improved significantly in the last week. Luke's now out of the high dependency unit at Royal Perth, and a couple of days ago he was actually sitting in a wheelchair with his eyes open. And whilst that is extremely positive, there are still no real signs of awareness of what's going around him, and we're yet to determine the extent of damage to the brain. But he is improving significantly. His vital signs are strong. He's out of critical condition into stable condition, so we can only hope that he continues to progressively improve and hopefully return to something like he was before a couple of weeks ago.
Just going back, the news must have been so devastating when you found out about his injuries initially. How did the football club cope with something like this happening to one of its players?
Well, the first thing was to ensure that all of our footy community, our players and officials got together at the footy club on the Sunday afternoon after it was happened, so that everyone had a consistent understanding of exactly where things stood. But then after that, it was most important for the young men particularly that we maintain their routines so that they could really be around each other as a group. And I think that was very important, the fact that they had in particular their peers to talk to and weren't isolated and alone with their own emotions. So we've really tried to keep our group together to make sure we keep talking to each other, and the usual support services, counselling have been there available, but really it's been about the community coming together. And look, I have to say it's extended way beyond our footy club. The footy community and the general community at large have just been fantastic. The family is just so appreciative, and East Fremantle's no exception there. And East Fremantle's passed on their personal regards to the family, and I assure you that's very well appreciated.
Richard, tell us about the Awareness Day last weekend. How great was it getting that many people out there and the message that you were able to send?
Well, you may be aware that there's in excess of 15,000 followers on the Facebook site that's dedicated to Luke, and clearly a number of those were along. We had well over 4,500 people at Steel Blue last week. The theme was making a stand against violence on our streets, and as part of that, the Adams family, Luke's parents and his relatives have initiated a foundation which is going to be about educating young people against the dangers of what can happen out there on the streets, and just some simple things like staying together and looking after each other to prevent the sort of tragedy that they've had to endure.
Well, thanks very much, Richard. You have the full support of our club and the football community in general. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Mann.
Thanks very much, Tyson.